Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I am Darian and let's get into another video. Today, the topic of discussion is surviving the ambush. Okay, I know this may sound a little dramatic, but it is not. Okay, so if you're somebody who has essentially gone through different situations where it feels like you have been under attack, and in this case this could be physical attacks, but that's not the gist of this video. It's more so spiritual attacks playing themselves out in maybe your everyday life. Now, I'm not saying every day this is happening, but maybe you've had some situations that have happened throughout your life and you may not have been able to put words to what has happened, but hopefully this video will bring to light what you have experienced. Okay, before we jump into the topic, I'm gonna give you an example that is coming to mind. Think about in the wild when a pack of animals, let's say lions, okay? I'm not sure exactly how they hunt and stuff, but from what I can remember, I feel like they kind of like a couple of them go out and scope out the scene. They all work together for the takedown of the big gazelle or whatever they eat in the wild, okay? So essentially this gazelle is very tall, has a large structure for an animal as far as like comparing it to the lion. Now respectfully, the lion and the big cats are very powerful in their own right, but we're talking about an animal that knows I have to have support in the takedown of this other animal. There are some things that this other animal possesses that it may not necessarily be physically stronger, but this animal possesses height. This animal possesses something that makes it a little bit taller to where I need some help in taking it down. I need to distract this animal. I need the other cat over here doing this and doing that until one big ambush to take down the animal. Okay, now that I got the example out, that's just the example that came to me. Now think about a person. Think about a person, respectfully, a person that is no nonsense, no drama, not just, going around causing problems. If you cause problems in life, okay, obviously that stuff will follow you back. But think about the person that just exists and somehow their very presence causes people to react in a not good way, causes an ambush. So if you're somebody who has undergone ambushes in your lifetime, let's talk about it. Let's really get into it. I want to share some of the experiences that I have had, and then hopefully this gives you some revelation for your own life. Okay, so let's get into, first of all, why as a person may go through being ambushed and go through things like this. There are some powerful people out here, and I'm not talking about power in the way that the average person may see power. I'm talking about there is something inside of you that is so strong that just you're carrying some weight on the inside of you, some spiritual weight. You're carrying some light. You're carrying something that is so powerful on the inside of you that it actually does cause a shift when you enter different spaces. So if you look at life from a very energetic, spiritual type of way, you will understand why a person can just be minding their business, but what is inside of them causes a shift in the room. It causes the bad things, try not to say demons, but truly it causes the demons, the bad spirits in people to shift and react. So once you come around and cause that shift and reaction, you better know that those demons want to get rid of you. You better know that those demons want to get you out of their space. Then I'm talking about them being used from people. They're inside of people, but it's not that the people necessarily want to get rid of you or be wicked, but because they're under the influence of these demons, these spirits to do not good things, those demons don't want you there. They don't want you around. This doesn't mean that every single place you go is going to be an uproar or anything like that. I never want to cause anyone to feel like a burden in life. I never want anyone to feel like walking out this life is just overwhelming and too much. I understand that it can feel like that at times. But once you understand the intricacies, I hope I'm saying the right word, the different dynamics of life, the different spiritual things that are happening in life, I think it makes it easier for you to navigate life. Once you understand why certain things are happening and why certain things causes certain things to be triggered, it helps you to kind of like navigate this thing from a better perspective. Okay, so moving on with the topic at hand. If you are a powerful person, you possess a certain thing inside of you, and when I say that, I don't mean that you're better than anybody, but there are some people that are placed here with a certain gift inside of them. A lot of people like to refer to it as chosen, anointed, or something like that. Because of what is inside of you, it will trigger certain people, it will trigger certain groups. You are here to mark the place with what you have inside of you, and you have to understand, once you encounter people that are used to a certain way, it can cause a disruption in the atmosphere. So I want to talk about my own personal experiences. So just to even get started, I'm a type of person who I mind my business. Like, I really don't want no problems with nobody, okay? It just doesn't make sense to me naturally, from my natural human mind, that me just minding my business, me just being genuine, being myself, will cause certain people to be in an uproar or disrupt it, or whatever the case may be. And so, again, I'm not a confrontational person. Like, I will check, situations as they need to be checked, but it's not my nature to be confrontational. It's not my nature to cause problems. It's not my nature really to disrupt things and cause an uproar. If it happens naturally just because of your essence, what you carry, that's one thing. But to actually be out here just causing problems, that's a whole nother thing, okay? I'm not talking about that, okay? So that's not my nature, but I found myself, as I started to heal and do the inner work and grow and just go on my merry way in my life, minding my business, in my house, minding my business, I started to notice that, as I would encounter certain groups. So we can say friend groups, we can even say certain familial groups, even certain community groups, because I am a person who, even though I am very like quiet and I again mind my business, my presence does come with a certain authority. And I think anybody that does the work and starts to heal and starts to see life from a different perspective and start to love on yourself and grow spiritually, grow in so many ways, you will start to see that your presence will evoke something. Like, when you start to elevate and go to higher levels, physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, you will start to evoke different reactions in different people. And so, again, never been the type to like just enter a group and just start causing problems and this and that. But I noticed a pattern. I noticed at one point in my life, I went from people just seeing me from a certain way in their mind, that they painted this picture that I was. But once I started to grow spiritually and grow in authority and grow in a certain way, it started to trigger a lot of the people that I was around. Something about my presence, even though I was not saying this, I was not, again, out here to cause problems. Something about my presence was making these people feel like, oh, there's something about her. She's operating from a different level than us. She's coming and raising the bar, raising the standard. Her presence is convicting us, because the way that we're operating and the way we want to operate, we can't do that if she is in this space. Or her presence, what she has and what she's doing in her life and this and that, which is weird to me. Why do you care about what I'm doing in my life when I'm not around you? If I'm not talking about my life with you, why are you that interested in what I got going on if you don't like me, okay? But some kind of way it is causing a disruption in these people. And so I noticed that I was in these groups that I'm thinking like, oh, we're on the same level. We are on the same level as far as like mentally where we're trying to go. So I thought. Spiritually, we have the same goals. So I thought. And all the things. And with the test of time, it proved that we weren't on the same level. That whatever I had inside of me, whatever they were seeing that drew them to me, that made them want to be a part of me, actually was what they ended up resenting. And in some cases of being in certain groups, it made them want to take me down. It made them want to ambush me. Now, again, we're speaking from a spiritual perspective, so it can be easy to get mad at people. It can be easy to be like, oh, they all tried to come up against me and this or that. But I think once you reach a level of maturity and you start seeing things from certain perspectives, like a spiritual perspective, you realize that these people, there's something inside of them that they're under the influence of that makes them feel like what inside of you, again, is convicting them, is making them feel a certain way. So they gang up together to take you down because they don't want to have a mirror reflected on what they need to change within themselves, on what maybe they could have done better in their life. So some of you guys watching this, your very presence does shake some people up. Your very presence does cause some tension in certain spaces. So you have to be mindful of how your energy affects those around you, and not from a negative place, not like be a fear or, oh my gosh, I caused this reaction in people. But you have to understand where you stand in life and who is able to handle your energy, or how you use your respective role. So for instance, you may be thinking, oh, let me be a part of this group, let me come in and, you know, kiki haha, join these people. You know, we have the same mindset and blah, blah, blah. Not even realizing that you're actually supposed to have your own group that you're leading, that you're carrying, or your role is supposed to be in a whole different place. You're trying to assimilate with, essentially, I don't want to say the wrong people. Again, not that you're better than the people, but they're just not at the same space that you are in. It can be easy to try to blend in and want to make things work and want to force things, but you have to understand when what you have inside of you is able to work with the people that's around you. You have to understand what's an assignment. You have to understand what you're called to, and you have to be able to differentiate friendships and the relationships that are supposed to be in your life. Okay, so let's get into a story that I experienced. So there was 1 year in my life I had hit it off with somebody, like reconnected with somebody, and we were like pretty cool. Like, I thought that, you know, oh, we're supposed to be friends, we're pretty cool. So as we are growing and like getting to know each other on a deeper level, I'm thinking again a lot of similarities. Like, we have, in my mind, I'm thinking we have the same mindsets and goals and things like that. Time goes on and things seem fine, and then from that place I start to connect with other people through the person and just other people that I have already known. So of course that group dynamic starts to build. Now, me as a person, I'm just me. I like to mind my business. We can have fun, we can chill, we can all the things. I'm just the type of person that's just like, if I'm your friend, if we're this or that, I'm going to just be honest about things. I'm not, fake. That type of stuff is not me, okay? And when I say be honest, not in a rude way or anything like that, but I feel like it's so good to have people that will be honest with you in life and help you to be accountable in life and stuff like that. So yeah, we can have the fun and stuff, but we also should be able to just have conversations, just be real with each other and stuff like that. And so I noticed that the dynamic of the group wasn't like that, but there were people in the group that wanted to attach themselves to me for whatever reason, whatever motive they had. They wanted to enmesh themselves, just make sure that they were attached to me, in life, okay? As time went on, I started to see things that they wanted to be attached. So fast forward into the situation, like it was cool for a while. And then fast forward into the situation, there was a time where the person that I connected with first before the group was formed, the person wanted to embody the essence that I walk in, okay? They were seeing the good reactions that were being evoked by others because of my presence and because of my place in the dynamic. Okay, so they took that as, oh, she can get this reaction out of people, again, in a good way, not like a negative reaction. So maybe let me be like her. Let me change my essence to try to match hers, and maybe I'll get the same reaction. So it ended up turning into something very toxic. It basically felt like a whole destiny swapping attempt kind of situation. And what I'm not is down with that, okay? When things start to get weird and energy shifts and things just seem off, you can bet that I'm out of there, okay? I started to distance myself. I actually confronted a person, and again, I'm not like confronting like causing problems, but just having a conversation like, hey, I noticed that this shift, this change, the person didn't want to acknowledge the truth of the shift and the change that they had, and so we had to go our separate ways. So of course now this group is built and the group comes together and it's a fun experience, y'all. The experience that I can say for sure what I brought to the group, okay, was that girl energy, okay? To the point where I had people calling me talking about, oh, well, if you don't stay in the group is gonna fall apart. Well, that is not my problem, okay? Clearly the group was not built on anything strong if it is gonna fall apart because I removed myself from the situation. I noticed that the person that was like pretty much getting close to me in my space and started to shift energy that was very similar to like mine and personality and stuff like that. They were trying to embody my essence. I noticed that the person that was like really close with them, a person that they had been friends with for like years, like a while, that wasn't like a new situation for them, was now reaching out to me. Oh, now at this time I believe everything had really kind of, it was known that there was a shift in things. I kind of assumed that that person went and spent their story and told their story and, you know, victimhood and all of that stuff. So I, as a person, felt like it's not even worth me trying to explain my story. I am very much so a person of respect and I understand the rules of things. I understand if you've been friends with a person for this long and we've only known each other for, let's say you've been friends with somebody for like 10 years and we've only known each other a year, even if that person is wrong, I don't expect you to just switch loyalties over to my side and just let things ride. But the problem was that with what had happened, it was like certain people in the group were still trying to pull me back in and trying to force something to still be. I could also tell that there was some kind of, like they wanted to be connected because they wanted to be connected to whatever I brought. So I just want to say this before I continue on with the story. This was like one of the most profound moments in my life where I realized that this was a spiritual ambush. I'm laughing not because it's funny, but it's just like, wow. I talked to the person, like they called me. This is a person that is friends with the person that was acting funny. So they called me randomly and I just knew this was some mess. I just had the feeling. They tried to invite me to actually a party of the person that I had backed away from and distanced myself away from. And so in my mind, like the first thing I thought of was they know we're not talking. So I know that this is some mess. I understand what's going on. I see what I see, okay? And so I'm just upfront with a person. Again, I'm just very real to the point. I'm not playing games and going in circles and all of this. And I say, I haven't talked to this person in this long. We were having this problem. I talked to this person about this and they chose to act like they didn't know what I was talking about and ignore the situation at hand. So that's that. I will not be attending. And then so the person tries to like manipulate me. Oh, you just need to do it right, and blah blah blah. But why is it that big of a problem that I remove myself from a situation? Why is that a problem? I'm not causing anybody harm. I haven't done anything to anybody. Just me simply removing myself from a toxic situation. Why is that a problem? What am I exactly not doing right? So people will guilt trip you into their mess. So time goes on, and I noticed that I guess like they ended up gathering and having a meeting to talk about me, and I don't even know if they fully had to say, but someone ended up calling me that was also a part of the group shortly after that. And we had a phone conversation, and I don't even know if the person meant to say this, but they were like, yeah, I invited them all over to my house, and we were just talking about, how you just kind of like stopped showing up to the group, and it was like some other stuff that they disclosed. So in my mind, the first thing that came up, if y'all are that concerned with me, you didn't invite me to the event, which it was fine. It wasn't like, oh, I just had to go to this event. And then you end up telling me that at the event, y'all were just talking about me and what you've seen in some of my content and stuff and this or that. So to me, it was like, okay, this is like confirmation of what I was already thinking. So again, I'm sure the first girl went and told them whatever, spun her side of the story, but they knew the truth. They know what it was, okay? So then I correct the girl. So then I let the girl know that on my social media, I get to post whatever I want to. I can talk about what I've experienced in my lifetime and the things that I have gone through. Why are y'all watching my videos and we're not in communication? Why are you monitoring my life and then going back and talking about this if we're not in communication? Why is nobody talking about that? Okay? And I let it be known that me and the other person had a conversation. They chose not to do what they needed to do to fix the situation. So it is what it was. I'm a grown adult. I'm allowed to move in the way that I feel like I need to move for my life. So after that situation, after I spoke to those two people that were trying to like pull me back in and get me to be friends, that's actually the conversation where the person was like, oh, we need you to come back to the group because if not, the group is gonna fall apart. That is not my problem. Also in that conversation, people will really say what they are battling with or what demonic things are inside of them. I recall very clearly, and this is where your discernment has to be on one. You cannot trust people just because they're smiling in your face. Their motives may be completely different. I remember specifically, I was just telling the person, I'm not coming back around a group of people that were just having a whole meeting about me. Nobody reached out to me personally to talk about their personal issues, but y'all could meet up and have a whole group meeting about my life. And I guess whatever you felt like was, I don't even know. Like I'm smart, okay? I'm not gonna put myself in a situation where I know what it is. I know what's up. I know what's going on. Y'all want to get me back in this group so y'all can all come and team up and attack me, okay? But the person that I was on the phone with, I was just like, oh no, you seen like the, I don't know if you've heard, I don't know if you've heard the situation years ago. There was a girl in the news and the group of friends, they all went out of town. And guess what? The one girl did not make it back, okay? I will say allegedly, but pretty much they all took her out on the vacation. So I'm very hip to what people will do. I don't put anything past anybody, and I don't recommend anybody else play with their lives like that. So I was just like explaining the story and how I'm good. I don't trust, I don't need all this and that. At first, the person was like, oh, I would never do nothing like that to you. And then like I said something else, and the person said, well, you never know what I'll do. You know how they call it Freudian slip? I discerned that this person had a Freudian slip. It was really just the demon that they had inside them revealing themselves, that they would, if they had the chance, take their so-called friend out, okay? So we'll leave it at that. We'll leave it at that. I'm not making any accusations, but that is what I heard on the phone, okay? I mean, I have my own interpretations of what I have experienced, but I will leave it at that. So basically, I said all of that to say not to put your trust in anybody, okay? A lot of times people don't really know what they will do until they're in certain situations or they have the opportunity to do it. So I personally don't believe that you should play about certain situations. When things are revealed to you, they're revealed to you for a reason. So moving forward, you guys, like I have like set my piece, hang up the phone. I literally went to go work out after that because I, you know, again, I got stuff to do. The drama can miss me. I was focused on the betterment of my personal life, okay? At that point, over the drama. So I noticed that like I had like removed myself, and it was like the rest of the people from the group in different instances kept reaching out in a different way. One person all of a sudden is texting me. I haven't had this person really text me except I think one time in the years of the group or whatever, or the 1 to 2 years, whatever, however long the group was together. The person really only texted me, I think, like 1 or 2 times, and now all of a sudden that this is going on, and you know, it's revealed that y'all were all having a group meeting about me. Now you want to try to message me and send me a text. Then another person is trying to randomly like my stuff on social media and add me on social media. Then another person is trying to reach out in another way. So as time was going on and this was happening, it clicked. Wow, this was a ambush. This was a network designed against me, a spiritual network, okay? Even consciously, sometimes people are used by dark forces and they don't even realize it. But this was a network, a demonic network being used through these people to try to ambush me. It's a spiritual working, but they were trying to ambush me. So you have to really be cautious of the different dynamics of the social scenes that you are in. I am a person that believes that you need to just see the signs, move accordingly. I'm not saying that it's appropriate to always open your mouth and say anything and react, but move accordingly, okay? So with that situation, that was something that I had to learn about spiritual ambush and spiritual networks that are here to work against you. Now, if you're looking at this from a very carnal, you know, like not really deep space, you can be like, oh no, they were just trying to fix everything and they really wanted you to be a part of it and fix the group. Trust the discernment that you have been given. Trust what is inside of you. Don't allow people to try to speak against what you know in your heart something is, because that's when situations start to go bad, because people want to see the brighter side of situations or overlook what is being shown to them. So that is something I've had to learn in life, and that is something that I would recommend everybody do. Trust what you truly believe in your heart. It could literally save your life. It could literally save your life. Okay, so let's get into the next situation. So I've had a situation of a different dynamic where I have always felt resentment from the people, jealousy, just the people now I know don't like me, okay? And these people are actually people that essentially are in a position that should be seen as respected, okay? A close, respected position that these people should be walking in, okay? And so I've also had situations where, because those people see me as thriving, where they feel like they are not thriving in their lives, or they haven't thrived in their lives, or they may feel like it's over for them, like they may not have enough time to really, I guess, live out their life in a positive way and enjoy it and things like that. There was a time I walked into an ambush where one person was the ringleader that felt like they could walk up to me and tell me what I need to do with my life. Now, this time, every single thing that they were telling me, that I need to do with my life. It was the complete opposite of what God had already told me to do with my life, and like what he wanted me to do and where he was leading me. So that already was the number one red flag. Mind you, this person is also somebody that I probably see like once a year. Like, there's no real relationship with this person. There's no interaction on social media. They never comment, like, or nothing like that. But apparently they knew like my whole life, and not even from social media, but from I guess just gossip and monitoring spirits and all the things. So this person was going ham, okay? Now looking back, I can laugh at it because this is like crazy. This person walks up to me. Mind you, this person is a man. Puts their fingers on me, like touches me, which was out of bounds. This person is, I think, like 30, at least 30 years older than me. Again, I don't have a real relationship with this person. This person felt like it was a good idea for them to be the ringleader of the group of, I guess, confronting me and telling me what I need to do with my life and how I need to live my life. Again, everything that they were telling me was the opposite of what God had already revealed he wants me to do with my life. Everything that they were telling me was actually going to lead me back into bondage of what God had set me free from. So again, these spiritual things, you have to really be aware of what is happening. Things are not just what they seem. So as I'm being verbally attacked without my permission, my head is being touched. There are other people around that are much older than me that should have the authority to say like, hey, that's not cool. Or even if they all sat and said whatever they had to say, whatever they feel like is going on in whatever life, or they put their speculations in this or that, even though they were being exposed just by this one action, they could have been like, okay, hey, that's not cool. Let's stop this. Let's blah, 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 blah. This is coming back. Interestingly enough, there was a year that God told me, do not be involved with these people. Do not be attached. Stay here and do this. Work on this, okay? For whatever meetup was coming. I just like threw a fit because I felt like I just had to be there, had to be around the people. But I did end up that time not going. And then later down the line, I experienced this ambush, this attack. So essentially, I'm leaving like in shock. Nobody defended me. I like am holding back tears because it was just such a shock. Like, I was so confused. Like, I'm coming in here trying to like I'm thinking that I'm loved in this group, and it just like was such a shock. So as I walk out, I hear nothing from these people. Nobody checks up, nobody tries to see. And I understand why. When people resent you, when they're jealous of you, when they don't like you, that is not a good emotion that they harbor in their heart towards you. So of course, even though you may hope that there's like some kind of light inside, some kind of light bulb that goes off, you have to accept the way that people feel about you. So fast forward to today, there are going to be situations in life where the enemy will use people to try to take you down. The enemy knows that you are powerful, and so the only way that he can take you down is to use a network of people to try to bring you down, okay? For a whole group to have to come together and work together on one person, that alone should let you know the type of power that you have on the inside of you. Even if you don't even realize it, but you are a big deal, okay? You are a big deal, okay? So I guess this kind of turned out to be more of a testimonial kind of video versus just me speaking. But I just wanted to speak a little bit about surviving the ambush, so that hopefully from hearing what I had to say in this video, it will help you to build discernment and see things from a more spiritual place versus just seeing it from a carnal view of like, oh, this drama just happened in my life. You can see exactly why these people had to work in a network to try to take you down, or whatever the situation. Take you down just is probably like the most dramatic way of saying it. I hope that if you have experienced any situations where you have been ambushed, that first of all, that you're okay. Hopefully it's nothing physical or anything like that type of ambush. But even an emotional ambush can be pretty hard. So first of all, I hope that you're okay. And next, I hope that you take the lessons from it and moving forward and building relationships and getting to know people, that you're able to navigate it from a different space with your spiritual eyes open and being able to see what's really at work and what's really at play. So I thank you so much for watching this video, and I hope that you have a great day. Bye.